The moon is full, the night is alive, and the air is thick with terror. Welcome, brave souls, to our Friday the 13th special on the Scary Movie Project, where every creak, every whisper, and every shadow holds a secret. Tonight, we dive into the darkest corners of horror, and there's no turning back. That was so dramatic. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Matt, and we are on a live Friday the 13th episode. I am so glad you guys are joining us. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I want to plug something real quick on this thing. You guys were hopefully just watching. We're seeing an awesome slideshow of a Friday the 13th tour. Camp or crystallaketours.com. Here's some more of these pictures. I took this tour last year. This is a tour of the camp from the original Friday the 13th film. It's a working Boy Scout camp. You can take a tour. You can go there. It's amazing. I went on Friday the 13th in October last year. Hardwick Township, New Jersey. Really, really awesome stuff. They've been doing it since about 2011, and it's not free. You got to pay, but it's really cool. There's a lot of great stuff to do. You get to tour everything that was in the film. Really, really great tour guides and stuff. People come from all over the world for this thing. I had a freaking blast. It was wonderful. Highly recommend it. crystallaketours.com. I think the same handle for their Instagram too. But that being said, we're going to get right to it. We have other podcast hosts. We have horror film aficionados. We have authors. We have 6 great guests tonight. I'm not going to waste any time with it. So what I'm going to do right now is my first guest is Slap Carthern. And Slap is an independent filmmaker, writer, and content creator out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's got a new film he's working on that he also wants to talk about. So we're going to bring in Slap, and we're going to get him ready to go here. And we are going to talk Friday the 13th with him, and we are going to talk about his film that he wants to do. So as soon as he's up and ready to go here, we are going to get that going, and we're going to see how that goes. He's got some cool stuff. I've seen a trailer that he's done of it so far. Slap, if you are on and if you are ready, we're going to bring you in here in just a moment, and we're going to make this happen. And there he is. I ask, and you shall receive on that. Hello, my friend. How you doing, man? Happy Friday the 13th.
Hey, what's up, Matt? How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man.
Happy Friday the 13th, guys.
So the first question, everyone's going to get asked this tonight. What is your favorite Friday the 13th film?
Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, Jason Takes Manhattan. Okay. No comment. All right, we'll leave it at that. And that is totally your preference, my friend. That is totally your preference.
Yeah, that was kind of funny to me.
That is totally.
They're all freaking epic, man. But that one right there, man, just takes the cake.
Punching the guy.
Jason in New York, man. How can you? I mean, come on. How can you?
So they really shot that in Times Square. That's hotter. They really did
freaking
that.
epic, man. I mean,
yeah.
you can't. It just can't be.
I know,
man. It's awesome.
It's amazing. So, all right, Friday the 13th. I know you love, and we all do. What is it about the film specifically that you have that you think is the best about them? What do you like? What do you dislike about them?
I like I'm a huge fan of the slasher genre. You know, I like guys that don't talk. I like guys that get a machete in their hand or a butcher's knife in their hand and go to work. It's really deep. It's a really deep story compared, just thinking about how Jason becomes the actual Jason Voorhees, the slasher that we all know.
Yeah.
You know, the infamous counselors ignoring him while he's drowning and whatnot. So but yeah, I'm just a huge fan of the slasher genre. I'm actually going to watch it tonight because it's Friday the 13th, and it's just tradition that I watch a Jason Voorhees movie on Friday the 13th. You know what I mean? So yeah, just a huge fan of the slasher genre, man. And yeah, it's Jason Voorhees. It can't be any better than that.
Let me ask you: have you lived in Atlanta like for a minute or for a while?
Pretty much. I'm from South Georgia. I'm actually from Valdosta, Georgia. It's a really small town.
I've heard of
located in South Georgia. Yeah. Moved to Atlanta my senior year in high school. Went away to Kansas, played some college football out there, played football in North Carolina also. Okay. And then I've been back in Atlanta ever since, pretty much ever since 2006.
So have you gone to see the tours of where they shot The Walking Dead?
Oh, absolutely.
And have you seen where they shot Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? Maybe not that one, but yeah. Tell me about the Walking Dead stuff. I've been curious about this.
Walking Dead, they filmed this show literally, I would say 5 minutes from where I live.
Is that right?
So, yeah, it's in Sonora, Georgia. I'm located.
I'm
located in Newnan, Georgia. So it's all the same county.
Oh, my friend grew up in Newnan. Holy crap, that's
so
hilarious.
It's freaking awesome, man. Yeah, I've been to the tours, been to Nick and Norman's. I eat at Nick and Norman's once every 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
So I've seen a lot of the actors that's in the actual show. As a matter of fact, God, I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Norman Reedus, I see him all the time. He rides his motorcycle all the time. They actually sat in the booth right next to me, man. It was freaking awesome. Just about all the main characters were literally, I was in Mickey Mouse, they were all sitting right next to me. I didn't want to fan out and like be like, hey man, can I get some autographs? But they were super chill guys. They were having drinks, just kind of laughing and stuff like that. So it was cool. I got a head nod from them, so that was awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, the tours are awesome, man. The Halloween 2 when Rob Zombie shot that.
They shot that down there, didn't they?
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I did have a friend of mine that was actually an extra in that film, so it's pretty cool to see her in the film, doing her thing when they were doing that. Okay. So yeah, man, yeah. Any chance I get a chance to go see something cool where they film some badass horror film, man, I'm definitely going to be there.
I feel like Georgia was like a spot for a while where they were doing lots of film shoots, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Starting to heat back up. They just opened a huge movie studio here in Fayetteville called Trilla Studios. It used to be called Pinewood Studios. They shoot a lot of the Marvel films there. But it's totally like not like off. It's not you will run into somebody just in my area that's someone like a famous actor or actress or whatever the case may be, just because there's so much filming going on in the area that I specifically live at.
That is really, really cool.
Absolutely.
I think of some other ones. I want to say like Pet Sematary 2. They maybe shot down there a long time ago.
Yeah, The Conjuring. The Conjuring 3. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they shot that. I was actually right outside of it when they were shooting one of the scenes.
You've been to all these spots. Okay.
Yeah, man. It was freaking awesome, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. They shot The Exorcist, the last remake of The Exorcist.
Oh yeah.
They shot that here actually at Trilla Studios. They shot scenes from it here. Okay. So yeah, man, it was awesome. I had a buddy, he does like a lot of the makeup on set for that specific film. So it's pretty cool. He was like giving me the 411. He couldn't tell me everything was going on, but he told me like, hey man, they're actually filming this movie here at this location in Georgia. So it's pretty cool.
That is great. So have you ever been lucky enough to watch any of the Friday the 13th, go to see any of the Friday the 13th films when they were released on Friday, like on a Friday the 13th? I went to see the remake in like 2009.
Yeah, a lot of the remakes. Yeah. The one, what's the action director name? He did the Bad Boys film, the original Bad Boys film, the Transformer films.
Michael Bay.
Yeah. I went to the movies and saw the remake Friday the 13th when he
was doing the Platinum Dune studio with Marcus Nispel when they did the
exactly.
they did Chainsaw, and then Friday the 13th they did that studio.
Exactly, man. Right? Exactly. Yeah. So I checked that out, man. It was pretty badass, man. So I liked it, man. A lot of my buddies were like, I didn't like it. It took away from this and this and this. I was like, hey, man. I actually liked it.
Those first 10 minutes were great. Like when he's in the camp and he's coming through the floor and everything, and that was like scary. Yeah, I can't speak necessarily for the rest of it, but I really liked it. That was good.
Yeah, I liked it with the bow. The infamous bow kill, man. I was like, man, this guy right here, man. This is unique.
It's like endless, right? This can never they can never stop making these.
No, they can't.
So I saw a really cool video you did where you're in a cemetery in Atlanta, right? Is that
Oakland Cemetery? Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. It's a series I just started on YouTube. I'm doing I guess you could say the most haunted places around Georgia.
Okay.
So every month, I'm going to go to different locations. I'm actually filming another episode this upcoming next Sunday. But different haunted locations, locations that have a lot of paranormal activity that's happening from the specific locations. A lot of history, we're in Georgia, so you got the old Civil War and the soldiers that was in the Civil War. So many places like many people see, soldiers, the ghost apparitions of the soldiers or whatnot.
Right.
Area. So this next place we're going to is going to be very, very spooky also. So I look forward to displaying that to you guys.
Are you going to go down to Savannah and do a bunch of stuff there?
Absolutely. That's going to be towards the end of October. I have a really busy October, but going into May, going into November, I'm going to shoot down there and start shooting some locations down there in Savannah. Savannah is a badass city, man. I absolutely love it.
It's like one of the biggest, whatchamacallit, St. Patrick's Day places, but like, it's super haunted though, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been on ghost tours down there. I actually felt the presence of a ghost in one of the hotels I stayed in. Yeah, man. I just randomly woke up at like 2:57. I never forget. Really? Woke up at 2:57. And I felt like something was in the corner of my room. And when I was like really trying to zero in on it, it faded and I could see the wall again. So I was like, well, that was a ghost right there in the corner.
Cool.
So I just kind of like, well, yeah, that was awesome, and I just kind of laid back down and went to sleep.
So where were you staying? What hotel when it happened?
Yeah, it's right off the riverfront. I got to remember the name of the hotel, but supposedly it's pretty haunted too. I have to DM you the name of it, man, whenever I remember the name of it. But it was awesome though, man. It's really nice hotel, really good food, very good kind of that old kind of I can say kind of Dracula feel. You walk down there in some of those hotels, feel like you're walking into like an old Dracula hotel, like will come out and bite you on the neck or something.
I love it.
But it was awesome, man. It was awesome. Really nice hotel, nice staff. Everybody was super cool.
Good. So we're talking with Slat from Fear Owl Films here, and we just got this Friday the 13th live going. If you're watching on anywhere, chat away, ask questions if you guys want. But what I want to hear from you is you are making an animated film, a horror film. I think I saw a trailer for it. It looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you're working on. What is this project? I want to hear about this.
All right, man. This project right here, I wrote it actually last year after the week after I left Halloween Horror Nights. So it's actually
cool.
Yeah, I go to Halloween Horror Nights every year. I've been going every year for the past 11 years. But I went down there. I've been writing ever since I left college, which was back in 2007, if I'm not mistaken. But I've always written stories. I never actually written a script.
Oh, yeah.
So I wrote this story last year. My cousin cosplay Shinobi. He's real big in the cosplay world, but he told me he makes films also. He's like, man, you ought to turn this story into a script. And I was like, well, I don't know how to do it. So I did my research on how to write scripts and things of that nature. And I just got to write. I rewrote the story in script format. And man, it ended up working out really well for me, man. And my cousin really liked it. A couple of buddies liked it. And I was like, how can I actually turn this into a short film? And I was going to do it live. And I said, well, shooting it live will cost a ton of money for everything I'm trying to do.
Sure.
And then I was like, oh, I'm going to do an animation. And then I didn't realize that animation costs just as much. So, yeah, man, everything ended up working out, man. It took a lot of research, a lot of dedication, a lot of my personal money that I put towards it. It took me a year to get it done, but I finally got it done. And it's releasing this upcoming Halloween. So it took me a year to do it. And it's releasing on Halloween this year.
So how much, obviously you can only say so much, I'm sure, but so did you tell me, I really don't know much about animation. So did you do this all yourself? Did you have help? How did you do it?
I wrote it. I directed it. I wrote it. I formatted it. I produced it or whatnot. I casted it. I had a guy that was helping me with the casting, but as far as it wasn't really finding the talent what I was looking for to voice some of these roles that I had envisioned in my head. So I ended up casting it myself, which was good. It was a lot of stress, but it taught me a lot. This is my first film, so it taught me a lot of how to do this. And I researched, read books and things of that nature. So I ended up handling everything on this project besides the animation. I found a really good animator out of Tennessee. He's been in the game a minute, man. He tapped into the AI field, and he was really trying to design things with the AI, as far as AI goes. And he told me about this idea, and I was like, hey, man, let's team up. Let's see if we can try to make this work, if we can bring it to light. And I sent him my idea of everything, what I wanted. And we was able to basically create it, man, and brought it to life, had the characters moving and stuff. And yeah, man, that's how it all worked out, man. I was just very fortunate, dude.
That is awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So now what is your plan? You film festivals? How are you going to market it? What are you going to do?
Yeah, man, it's been in several film festivals so far. I believe it's been submitted into 27. It's been accepted into 5 so far. So of course you're waiting on still the deadlines and things of that nature to come through to continue to let me know which ones are going to accept it. I received the honorable mention in one of the film festivals, which is awesome also. So that's pretty cool to see your vision being appreciated by one of the festivals or whatnot. But also when the film releases, I'm going to release it this year. I'm also working on my next one behind the scenes also. So the next one's going to be even bigger because I have such a huge cast of very, I guess you could say big name content creators or whatnot. So yeah, man, I'm just excited. I'm excited for this one. I'm going to release it on my website first. It'll be available to stream on my website. I'm just going to charge like $1.99, man. Just something like that.
Yeah, it's cheaper than most on demand. There you go.
Yeah. Just something super cheap. It's a short, and yeah, man, it's going to be awesome, man.
Well, hopefully it leads to a lot more stuff too, which is really good. So that's really cool. So everyone hopefully will check that out. So if you could, here's the question I'm going to ask everyone too. Because the Friday the 13th, have you heard about the series, the reboot prequel series they want to do now, right? Have you heard about this?
Absolutely. I believe A24 Studios is picking it up. Is that what I've been hearing?
it was supposed to be Paramount, and then it got shelved. It might be in that whole, development hell that you always hear about right now.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be like a prequel, I think, and it's supposed to be a great show. So I want to see it. So let me
absolutely.
ask you this: if you could watch another Friday the 13th film, would you want to see a prequel, or where would you want to see the next film go? What would you want to see?
I think I would rather see it. I want to. I'm really old school when it comes to my slashers. I would rather see them like maybe they can modernize it. Maybe they bring some kids. They open Camp Crystal Lake back open. It's
Always
Jason
a good
Voorhees
idea,
is
right?
dead. Jason
what's
Voorhees
wrong?
is dead. So we got the kids back. The past 10 years, everything's been safe, and all of a sudden, man, he emerges. And he's back doing what Jason does.
I love it.
And I would like to see him just go old school with it, man. Like, hey, let's go back to the roots, man. Let's go back to Camp Crystal Lake. Let's let somebody do something stupid to release him back into the world, and let's let Jason do what he do, man. Let's let him get back to cutting some heads off and stuff.
I'd like to see how, because like in part 6, remember the spike with the lightning bolt and it brings it back. I'd like to see how they would be able to do it. I'd be interested to see how he comes, because eventually he's this zombie. He's not even a person anymore.
Yeah.
This is like, what is going on?
Yeah. About like they're trying to go with Michael Myers. It seems like there's some films.
So good question there. So we talk about slashers and stuff. All right. So of all of them, have you seen? What is the movie that just came out with the slasher? It looked like it was Friday the 13th.
Dude, it does look like it. I have not seen it yet, but I didn't know if it was out yet.
In a violent nature.
It's out now,
right? Yeah. I think you can stream it now.
Oh, I'm gonna probably watch it tonight, man.
That is supposed to be like
it looked like, I thought it was like a Friday the 13th.
Oh, I thought it was some ripoff.
Yeah. But it actually looks pretty badass though.
Supposed to be good. So, all right. So of the 3 big, I'll say 4 because I have a soft spot because I love Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface. Who's your favorite? What's your favorite like of those series? For me, it's Halloween. It's Michael Myers.
Yeah. Halloween. Yeah. Halloween's gonna definitely be it, man. I'm a huge Michael Myers fan, man.
What are your thoughts on the last 3 films too? Did you like them? The last trilogy ends, whatever, Halloween Stalks, all that, or whatever.
I did not like 3. I did
Halloween
like
ends.
2. Yeah, I like 2. I felt like 2 was going in the right direction. It kind of started losing me a little bit when the Evil Dies Tonight shit that started happening or whatever.
Not stop saying it. That's
I was like, what is this corny shit? Like, could someone not come up with something better than this? But
right.
Yeah, I thought that it started out real intense when they had the young Dr. Loomis. Like, it kind of was black and white, and they had the old school music going. And you had Michael like stalking the slow walk. He's just coming to just freaking wreak havoc. And then the officer shoots his partner and stuff. I was like, what the hell? Like, how does this happen? But
yeah, I know.
They hit it. Blumhouse. I'm a huge Blumhouse fan.
Okay.
Some movies they absolutely nail, and then some movies is like, who wrote this shit?
Yeah. No, I mean that's true. It was like I think it was that Platinum. We were talking about the Platinum Dunes that did these remakes.
Exactly.
I thought they did a good job. I didn't love the Nightmare one they did, but I love Chainsaw remake. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then
I agree.
The Friday 13th one wasn't bad either. So
yeah,
they did some pretty good stuff. But all right, so you think Michael Myers is your slasher? That's the one
Michael Myers is my ultimate slasher, man. I'm a huge fan of him, man.
I mean, who isn't, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where that's going to go. I mean, that seems to be, this last series, the trilogy was polarizing. A lot of people were like, I don't like this stuff.
Yeah.
We've now seen Laurie. There's so many universes of Laurie Strode and where it's going, and like, oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But it's pretty cool. Of course they're supposed to be ramping it back up, man. I'm really curious to see what they're gonna do with this Exorcist, because I am a huge fan of the Exorcist. Sorry, I know this is slasher talk, but I'm a huge fan of the Exorcist too.
I never saw the remake just because I've heard nothing but just awful things.
I gave it a chance. I gave it a chance, and typical Blumhouse. I was like, man, why do they do me like this? I went to the movies and saw it, and I went and saw it twice. I was like, all right, I saw it. I'm gonna give it another shot, and I saw watching it again. I was like, this is horrible, man.
I know,
but
well,
you know,
it's all good. So
absolutely.
coming on. Thank you, man, for coming on. It's a pleasure to meet you. We're going to keep up. We should do an episode one day for sure.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely,
IG
man.
stuff, all your socials, we've been streaming them up there for everyone the whole time. So everybody check him out. And
Absolutely.
thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
you being here, man.
Thank you, man. Anybody that follows, man, let me know you saw me, and I'll make sure I follow you back, and we'll stay in contact. I love fellow horror enthusiasts, man. It's awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Awesome. All right. One down. That was wonderful. We got more to go. So my next, well, two guests. Well, we have Sarah. She's the co-host of Laughing with Gingers. Sometimes being a redhead means getting sunbirds in the shade. Sometimes it means having the loudest laugh in the room. Sometimes it's both. Fueled by a love of silliness and fun, Sarah's effervescent personality draws you in, even though you can't help but root against her elephant memory when she's challenging Christina in one of her crazy games. Grab your favorite beverage, throw on your headphones, and get ready to laugh with your second favorite redhead. Your other favorite redhead is Christina. Laughing with Gingers. I was wondering what her loud laugh was in second grade when she appeared, when her name appeared on the chalkboard day one for being too loud. Sounds like me, being too loud. Fast forward to current time, she now gets to freely express her joy and laugh as loud as she wants to with Sarah. She also loves to deep dive into the subject and learn about all the weird and funny things about it and share it. Sometimes Sarah, oddly enough, knows those weird and funny facts. Ladies and gentlemen, Laughing with Gingers, you know them, you love them. They've been on the show. We've done episodes. We're here to have a good time. First thing I'm going to say right after that is I listened to an episode today talking about slang. You guys, you're legit to quit.
You did that like a professional.
You're legit to quit. Done. There you go. I know you were struggling. MC Hammer, by the way, just in case you were. And yeah, I was thinking of some slang stuff too, and I was thinking about like when I was in high school. I was thinking of a good one. When people, when you like something, you say that joint is like that.
We did not say that when I was in high school. I think it's a regional thing.
That joint is like that. That's what you would say. Anyway. All right, so here's the first question. Christina, this is really a good one for you because I don't know you're going to be what your answer is for this one. But what is both of y'all's favorite Friday the 13th film?
I mean, I'm going to have to say my number one is Treevenge first before anything. I can't even get past Treevenge.
Everybody needs to watch. By the way, do yourself a favor. YouTube Treevenge and just trust us. Trust us. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, just trust. But you know, if I'm moving past Treevenge, I'm gonna have to say the original because, to be honest, scary movies scare me.
I know.
And I only made it through the first one as an adult.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say it's my favorite.
All right. Sarah, favorite.
I think the first one is my favorite too.
Okay.
I have really good memories of seeing that movie as a kid. And yeah, I love it.
It's a pretty great movie. So
I want to know what your favorite is.
My favorite one, okay, I really like 7. I like 7 a lot. The New Blood, it has a telekinetic thing going on. I like the kills, I like the setting, I like the windy, spooky kind of nighttime scenery in the camp. 3 is great. The music is just really corny, but it's really great. And I mean, the original is obviously great. I mean, I don't know that I have a favorite. A lot of people's, and I think one of our guests later, it might be his, a lot of people love 4 a lot. They really like part 4 a lot. Seems to be a big fan favorite as well. So, I mean, you cannot go wrong with the original, right? So, and that's always, and you know what? I was going to mention a trivia question, but I know you guys have plenty of trivia. I say we dive right into it. I know you guys have like different sides of the trivia. I'm in for whatever you guys want to do with this thing.
All right. Well, I brought trivia because that's what I always bring to Laughing with Gingers in some capacity.
I know.
And Christina brought history because that's what she brings to Laughing with Gingers. So here we go.
Yes.
So how many Friday the 13th are there each year?
Okay. There can be a max of 3. Is that correct?
Ding, ding, ding.
Right. I think you can have a max of 3. And this year we get 1 now and then December. And I remember a few years ago we had like a back-to-back like December, November thing or something, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm impressed. I didn't know that.
Come on. You know how much physics knowledge I have in my brain? You should know this by now.
It's true. You and I have that elephant brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? What do they call it? Eidetic memory or some word for it or something? Isn't I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, keep going.
Eidetic, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Okay, so other than hotels, what type of businesses, air quotes, are known to skip the number 13?
Ooh. You said besides hotels, right? Okay.
Besides hotels.
So then
and that would be like office buildings.
Okay. Yeah, you answered my question for that. I was going to ask about that. Okay. Ooh.
Restaurants? Like when they call numbers?
Like office apartments. Okay, that doesn't count, right? Okay. Restaurant. That's interesting.
Yeah, move off elevators. Move off floors.
Have no idea. I don't even have a guess.
No guess. Wow.
I don't even.
Stumped Matt on my second one.
I'm just trying to think of what else it would be. I don't know.
Do I get a trophy?
I think you've stumped me plenty of times on this. I think it's more like 70-30 you than me on these things when we do this.
Okay. Airports. So,
okay.
According to National Geographic, more than 80% of high-rise buildings avoid the 13th floor. Oh. Hospitals skip the 13th floor. And, you know, they also don't have room 13s.
Right.
But airports often skip 13.
Really? I'd never even paid attention. I've never even noticed that. No, never. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Now
you're going to see a 13 and you're going to be like...
I'm going to the airport in November. I'm going to start walking around the airport and taking notes.
Yes. Yeah. Text us if you see 13.
I will make notes and send them to you immediately. Done.
Can't wait. Done. All right, Christina, you're in with history.
All right. Well, I looked up what the fear of the number 13 is, like the word. Bear with me because it's a really long one and I'm really bad at English, even though it's my first language.
I speak English real good.
Okay. So the fear of number 13 is trichophobia.
I knew it started with a tricks thing and that was all I could give you either. It ends in phobia. That's all I know too. Yep. The rest of the words, I don't know.
A $16 word right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a real legitimate fear, correct? Like a real thing.
Yeah. Like people. Yeah, that is
paralyzed.
Legit,
they can't
like phobia.
Ooh, wow, that's
intense. I know. That's a hard way to live.
We all got fears of stuff. I mean, you know, it's all good, right? But
yeah. All right, I'll toss it back over to you, Sarah.
All right. It's funny, Christina. When I was doing my trivia collection, I found that, and I thought to myself, Christina would die before she would say that on the podcast. Because Christina always has this problem where she never looks up how to say it and just always
just goes in cold.
Crashes.
Yeah,
and burns.
I wing it. I'm really good at winging it, or bad at winging it, I guess.
Although in fairness, I said Lubbock, Texas. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, and it's Lubbock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lubbock, Texas?
Yeah, I made fancy. I don't don't know what was going on.
Sure, Lubbock, Texas.
Good that's Lubbock, one Texas. Time out of my 100s of mispronouncing things. So.
Okay.
She remembers specifically what it is.
Lubbock, Texas.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Okay. This one might be a layup, but I'm still throwing it to you.
Yep.
What was the original name for the Friday the 13th movie?
Oh, I don't think it's a layup actually at all. I don't think I can remember this one. The easy layup one is the one for the original Halloween title. I know that one. Original Friday the 13th. Oh, I know I've heard Sean Cunningham, the director, say this a million times, but it's left my brain now. I don't remember it. What is it?
Christina, any guesses?
Yeah, Christina, please, if you know, yeah. I step on.
Well, I don't want to leave you out.
I don't know.
A Long Night at Camp Blood.
Because that's like one of the taglines that you use is the Long Night. Okay, yeah. Camp Blood. There you go. There you go. Okay. I totally did not remember that at all. Nope.
So here's scary. I know it really changes the whole vibe of it for me.
Camp Blood. Camp Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
great.
It feels much more maybe like it doesn't have as much of a storyline and it's more just like slasher driven, which is not my
Well,
experience of
once
Friday
we go
the
past part 4, if they're all slasher driven with no plot anyway, so you know.
Well, true, but this is the OG.
OG.
To reference our slang episode.
Yes,
that
more
dropped.
slang, more slang. I love it.
So the concept for Friday the 13th began as nothing more than a title. A Long Night at Camp Blood was the working title Victor Miller used when he drafted the script. But Cunningham believed that his Friday the 13th moniker was believed in his Friday the 13th and rushed to replace an advertisement in International Variety.
I feel like I've heard some of these things. Yes, I because any good fan has watched the Crystal Lake documentary or whatever it was, and he does a great. Sean Cunningham talks about all that stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Is the number 13 ever considered lucky?
Yeah, I think some some cultures and places consider 13 a very lucky number, don't they?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Don't parts of Asia find 13 to be a very lucky number, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's right.
I think so.
Yes. And also Italy and Colgate University.
Colgate,
That's
as they would say.
specific.
Okay, the Colgate Raiders or whatever the heck they are. Yeah.
Plus, for pagans, it represents the number of full moons in a year. And I don't know if pagans is
There you
the
go.
politically correct way of saying that, but
Well, we love pagans and paganism on this program. So anytime you want to talk about that, we are more than happy to oblige.
yes, I did not.
We are a
research-
pro-pagan broadcast.
And hence why I didn't want to insult a group of people.
All good. I have a good trivia, but if you're, I don't want to steal your thunder here. Keep going.
Oh, I mean, I have 2
I'm
more, but
into it.
Christina has some other history too.
I
Okay.
have one more. I have 2 more things. Little
Okay.
things. So it's kind of weird how we associate like 13 and then 12, because with 12 there's this huge historical sense of completeness. There's 12 days of Christmas, 12 months in zodiac signs, 12 labors of Hercules, 12 gods of Olympus, 12 tribes of Israel. I mean, the list kind of goes on. So it does feel a little jarring to hit the 13. And so a lot of times it just gets ignored, dropped off. And that's why there's a little bit of an icky feeling to it. There's less of like this weird completeness to that number 13.
Zeus is the 13th god.
Holla.
We going to Greek mythology up in here or what?
It was
I
one of my
mean-
trivia things, and I dropped
okay.
it.
Okay. Did you drop it like it's hot? Boom.
Slang. Boom. Ain't for you.
And you know what? I'm just gonna say real quick. Just like, what was the one you said your parents would say if you were gonna get germs? What was it called?
Oh, me?
Yeah, what was on your show? You were saying, what was it? It was an old 50s reference that you were gonna get sick. You were gonna get like Germ City or something. Was that what you?
Oh God, what
Because
was
it sounds
it?
like something my mom would say. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally slipping my mind. We
doesn't matter.
recorded that episode in like June and held it. So
Hey, whatever. Anyway, keep going. I don't want to derail us.
I want to hear your trivia though.
Well,
Yeah,
you
me
guys
too.
might ask it though. I'm gonna
Okay,
wait till
okay,
the end,
keep
'cause
going, Sarah.
you might ask it. It's actually a fairly famous one. So go ahead.
fair. Okay.
Mhm.
Christina, I know you've seen this movie, so I expect you to have an answer.
Okay.
How many people
answer.
does Jason kill in the first Friday the 13th movie?
Oh, I think I know.
Go ahead, do it.
Is it 0?
Ding, ding, ding.
Very nice. That's a good question. That even
Mhm.
trips up horror fans. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and of course, also don't forget that was a famous line from Scream. Remember?
Oh, I
Drew
forgot
Barrymore's
about
making the comment,
that.
how many people, whatever, and she's like, "Oh no, Jada, the killer wasn't Jada, it was his mother, whatever." That was like a huge scene from that film. Remember that? Yeah.
Mhm.
after she called 911 for real repeatedly and hung up.
You know what? Scream, don't love it, but boy, did that first 15 minutes, that was some great cinema. I'll tell you what. That was really impressive.
Yeah,
Stressful.
Yeah, right?
truly. Yes.
Seriously.
I fainted in that movie. So
Oh
wow.
my God.
Okay.
yes,
That's
I stood up and fainted.
Oh my God. That is a good review for them.
really right.
Yes, and also not a fainter in,
Yeah.
Okay, so for all of you who didn't know the answer to that, in the first movie, Jason, can I do spoilers?
Yeah, that's what the show is all about.
I mean, in the first movie, also you had a very long time to watch it before now.
Yeah.
So, okay, in the first movie, Jason's mother, Pamela, does all the killing, all in the name of avenging the death of her son. The story has it that Jason witnessed the death at the climax of the first movie and took over the killing spree in the sequel.
Yep.
Two, they did what's her face wrong in part 2. I don't like the way they killed her off, but whatever.
I agree.
Mm.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I felt like she
It's
had more of
done.
a character arc coming, but
Yeah, they kind of just kept her around, but whatever.
okay, I have one more trivia and then
Okay.
I'll kick it to you all.
right.
So, how many Friday the 13th will we have this year?
Today and December, right?
2.
Ding, ding, ding.
You don't think I start counting my calendar by December and looking already every year?
I love it.
I
So
mean,
there will also be 3 Friday the 13th in 2026.
Oh.
everything's coming up
And-
Millhouse.
Such a good reference.
Not good. That's fantastic. Oh, this is very exciting news. What great news! Oh man. Do you want? Should I ask my trivia question then? Do you guys?
Oh yeah, I just said
before
I'm
before
so
we go.
curious.
All right. Did you know this isn't one that you can answer it? I'm just gonna say it. But this everyone knows the story of the movie Alive, the Uruguayan rugby team that crashed in the Andes.
Oh
Guess
yeah.
what day their flight was? That flight was.
Friday the 13th. Oh my God.
Boy.
My sister
Tupac
took
died
flight-
on Friday the 13th.
Yes,
He did,
yes,
yeah.
he did. Yes, he did. Or was he die or he got shot?
Oh, he got shot. He got shot.
Got
Mhm.
shot and he died. He may have been shot before then died. It was one of the, he either was shot or he died on that day, right? He didn't die
I
right. He
think-
died a few
Yeah.
days later.
I think
So-
he died on. No, he was. You're right. He was shot on
was
Friday
one of
the
the two.
13th, and
That's-
Julia Child died on Friday the 13th.
I didn't know
Well,
that.
We're gonna have our great friend. Nothing's bad's gonna happen to us today because we're having a good time. But anyway, so quick plug, of course, here. Tune in the first week of October, guys. Our episode that we had with Laughing Gingers, Rocky Horror Picture Show is coming your way. So I know you guys are excited for that. That was a lot of fun. That'll be out soon. So mark your calendars for that. We had a good time with that. And anyone that wants to go watch it with us and go to the theater, I said I wouldn't dress up, but I'll go. I'm in. Let's go. Let's find a showtime. Let's do it one of these days, right?
I'm dressing up, but it's going to be as
Right.
Frankenfurter.
Oh, okay. Go for it. I'll go. I don't want to do the dress up. That's not really
It's not going to be the magenta thing for everyone who's guessing mentally right now.
right. That's who you'll be. It has to be. No, you have to exactly. So Laughing with Gingers, we've done lots of episodes. We'll continue to do episodes. Check them out, guys. Like I said, their hilarious episode on slang I was cracking up today. That was a good one. I enjoyed it. Socials, their stuff is there. Thank you both for coming on this show, and I'm excited to do more episodes with you guys.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us.
Have a wonderful
Yeah,
rest of your
too.
Friday the 13th.
Thank you. I'm going to go watch Treevenge. I think everyone should put it on their list.
It's great.
We did an episode on it. You can
Yeah.
go listen.
And
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh, the puns.
All right, ladies. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So we have done 2 down. We got so much to go still. I'm very excited. My next guest. From a young age, he has been captivated by the magic of movies and story. This passion led to a deep appreciation for diverse cinematic styles, from Wes Anderson to Wes Craven, Steven Spielberg to Stephen King. Love that in there. That's nice. Got them back and forth. The love for art of the craft, especially within the horror genre, fueled an ongoing fascination with how film can evoke genuine emotion and suspense while reflecting the terrors of human condition. So dramatic and so great. Andre Ball is going to come on this program. Andre, I have Andre in a professional setting for like a decade now, I guess, right? And
about, yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been that long.
We're going to have fun tonight, man. How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing great, man. And hey, you read that really well. I mean, way more dramatic than it popped up in my head, but like, hey,
it was nice. I love your Stevens and your Wesses and the back and forth from them.
Yeah,
I love them both.
No, I thought Wes Anderson, and I was like, why didn't I think of Wes Craven first? Wes Anderson came up in my mind first, and it just clicked. So I was like, all right,
Wes Craven. All right. So the question for everyone: what's your favorite Friday the 13th? That's your first question. Go ahead.
This might be a hot take.
Hot take. I love hot takes.
Freddy versus Jason. So for me, before all of these like crossovers, you know, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all these people coming over, like I thought it was the coolest thing in the world to bring like two giants together, like on one.
And they've been trying for like ever to make it happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for that reason, the like hype factor for me was like, oh man, this is crazy. So I know it wasn't the best one. Number one to me was like the best. But just on like just pure excitement for a film, like I knew it was probably going to be bad. But the fact that they brought both of them together just made me like.
It does have a great line in it though, where the one guy's getting stoned and he says that goalie's really pissed off, man.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are a lot of great moments in the movie. To me, it's
so violent. The showdown at the end is so violent. It's so great. It's so
great.
Yeah.
I mean, just the idea of it, you know, like they were like, okay, so how are they going to do this? How is, you know, Freddy
rods just coming through them and just like, oh my god. And
yeah, exactly. So
it's super violent.
Yeah, exactly. It was. So that to me is my personal favorite. I know it is a hot take, but number one to me is like the best one for sure. So like I'd have to say
it's one of those films too. It's so, and they were just, you know, talking the trivia, you know, his mother is the killer, right? So it's that strange movie where it's this, they're all the same, but it couldn't be further away. You know, Jason X or whatever we finally ended on couldn't be further away from the original film, you know, in that kind of sense though, right?
Yeah.
It's very different in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it pretty much just launched the whole slasher film kind of like craze, right? I don't want to say Halloween. Halloween was like the guy that set the foundations, right? But it was Friday the 13th, I think, that just catapulted it into the stratosphere, made a worldwide phenomenon.
New Line, you know, really killed it with that. They were all about it, right? Not New Line. I'm sorry. New Line was Nightmare, but Paramount. Was great with Friday stuff. Yeah. One question. Hypercube says, did Freddy vs. Jason have a 3D part where you had to put on the cardboard glasses in the theater? I don't remember that. I remember part 3 in 3D, of course.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it would have.
I don't remember that.
It would have fit when it came out. Like I know around that time they did a lot of movies with like, you know, the 3D glasses.
So that was big for a minute.
Yeah. So I'm not sure actually. Man, if they did, I didn't do it. I missed out. But I have to look that up. I'm not sure if they did. So, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. So.
Favorite in the slashers, like I asked Slap earlier, Halloween, Nightmare, Friday 13th, or Chainsaw? What's your favorite?
Out of the slashers, I'd have to go with Chainsaw. Like,
ooh, nice.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's got that gritty, real feel to it. You know, it's like it's not just lived in, but it almost feels like it's happened. You know what I mean? It was on the cusp of like
snuff.
Yeah, snuff, but also like I forget the term now. Like with Paranormal Activity, with the what's the genre called?
Found footage.
Yeah, found footage. Right. It was like one of the first found footage horror films.
Yeah, I never really thought about it in that term, but you could, couldn't you? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's not, but it kind of balanced it.
I like that. I never really kind of ever thought of it because it is so just rough.
Yeah,
it's so rough. It's so rough.
Yeah.
So I think I told you I went to see it at Museum of Modern Art last month for 50th anniversary. Man, that was so cool to see in the theater. And there were plenty of folks. That was a thing for me. A film that I've seen before. I love to watch the audience. when I know it's going to happen, right? Like the scene, the jump, the really only jump scene in that film was when he's pushing her in the wheelchair and Leatherface just jumps out with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
So I'm like watching and waiting for the audience's reaction from that. But there were a
Yeah.
lot of fans who wore their t-shirt like I did. And there were some people who probably just lived in the area who were like, hey, I'll come check out this chainsaw movie. And
Yeah.
it was fun to see like the audience and the reaction of that as
Yeah. You didn't jump at the like when he took the hammer like right from, well, I mean, I guess you wouldn't jump because you see him coming, but like to me,
cringe.
yeah,
I mean,
and he just
yeah.
yeah, oh my god. I mean, I jumped like when he just like slammed him and he was just kind of twitching on the floor.
That and then the door just
yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I
and
was
your brain has gone into overdrive. And
Yeah.
what the F did I just see? What the hell just happened, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
What happened?
Yeah.
And what's going to go on? I saw a great post. One of the actresses from their film posted a hilarious meme the other day somewhere and just said, I thought we were cool, but you don't want to hang out. And it's
right.
We're about to be hung on the meat hook.
Yep. Exactly. I was just gonna. You need a picture of the meat hook and Leatherface like they're just like saying that exactly. And I think exactly.
Did you like the remake, Chainsaw remake, 2003?
Oh my! So I had a story with that. So
yeah.
my wife now we were in college at the University of Florida, and they not premiere, but they showed like older movies in our like little kind of union, like we called the Rights Union, like this small kind of auditorium. And we watched it there. And I watched it with her, and she hates horror movies. And she watched this one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Oh my God.
Good.
She never watched horror movies before. She'll never watch another one after it. But to me, so when I watched it then, I mean, the original still great. It's my favorite of the two, but the new one,
it's good. It's well done.
Yeah, I mean they ramped up the chainsaw kills in that movie.
The violence is there. Oh man,
that chandelier scene when he hung him,
eviscerates him.
Oh my God, I was like,
but they did a good job again of not really showing it. Your mind saw what it wanted to see. You never really saw that though.
Yeah,
right?
No, that's a really good point. I didn't really think about that, but you're absolutely right. The scariest kills in that movie. Yeah, exactly. Where the sound design in that movie was, I mean, it was great, but really in that movie it was just really good. But you're right. Like you just think, what's happening, and you see it's like kind of shaking hands off screen, and you're just freaked out, Yeah. So yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot, and it was one of the few horror movies I went to go see with my wife. So
the first and only you'll ever see with her.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a big werewolf movie fan, aren't you?
Oh yes, I am. Yes,
so,
I am.
I love American Werewolf in London. It was the first episode we ever did on this show, by the way.
Yeah,
I do love a good werewolf film. Give me three you love. Hopefully that's one of them, right?
Okay, yeah. Oh my gosh, American Werewolf in London is the top. Like that's like peak werewolf movie. My other one, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's this one called Wolf Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers?
Dog Soldiers. I'm sorry, Dog Soldiers.
Heard about it for years, thought it was lame. As time goes on, all I keep hearing is how great it actually is.
So I mean, it's not for it's not for everybody, and I don't want to spoil anything because I want you to watch it. But for me, I love it because they take an element of it, like they take a lot of elements from it, but there's an element about the kind of like the danger, like usually in these like werewolf movies you kind of take it from the perspective of the person who's turning into a werewolf. But in that movie they take it from like people who are trying to escape this like monster, and they're not just like regular people. These are people that know how to handle themselves, you know what I mean? And so they just kind of ramp up how powerful, how dangerous this monster is, and how it kind of shapes up against like actual people that know what they're doing. Okay. So to me, that was like, I love when you do that, when you actually have a threat, like a big, scary threat, and then you have like a group of people who are just like, you know what, maybe if we work together and like we kind of bond together, we can beat this thing kind of thing. So to me, that's my second favorite because of just that concept of it. And then the third, I will have to say like it's like, also kind of a hot take, but the reason why it's one of my favorites is because it scared me as a kid. It was the Wolfman with Jack Nicholson.
Wolf.
Wolf. Sorry, I got
I
that
like that
confused
movie.
with Benicio del Toro and Anthony
the
Hopkins.
Wolfman remake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which is but but yeah, Wolf was great because
Yes.
I remember I watched.
That was good. That was good.
I was 10, and I watched it at my parents' friend's house, and they were like, "Are you sure you want to watch this movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to watch this movie because it's got werewolves in it. I want to see it." And after I watched it, I couldn't go to sleep that night. My dad had to like help me go to sleep that night. He was just like, "Son, just like chill out, okay? You're gonna be fine. There's no."
That's a great. I love that.
Yeah, but I love Jack Nicholson as the Wolfman. I thought
he's good.
He was awesome.
Like a contemporary time frame story. Not. It's not even trying to be a horror film, really. Right? Yeah.
No, it explored that element of like people trying to deal with this thing that is like them transforming into this uncontrollable beast and them like trying to figure out how to deal with it and how to go on with their lives. And yeah, I like that it was in this kind of contemporary setting and they explored like different elements of like how that person could deal with it and then not deal with it, so yeah, to me, I think that was for me personally a favorite because it legitimately scared me as a kid.
That's what it's all about. If something doesn't matter what people, if it scares you, it's great. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
What about? I love like real life stories. So the Beast of Gévaudan. I don't know if you're.
Oh yeah,
real story.
Yes.
So do you like Brotherhood of the Wolf?
Brotherhood of the Wolf. I watched that. Actually, I watched it again this past year.
I love it, dude.
And it's cool.
It's the Matrix action stuff, but it's like a horror film and the fight scenes and the scenery and the French countryside. Love it. Love that movie.
I love the concept of it. And yes,
love that movie.
Anytime you have people fighting against like a werewolf, I'm in. Like you don't have to sell me.
What's better is a shark versus a zombie? What else? I mean, that's the only thing that's really any better than that.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that to me, and it had like it was just trying to ooze with style, like it was just like it was just like with the costumes, everything is and the fact it was in the French countryside was great. So definitely top 5. I would say So
you love that. What's something you love that's like an unconventional horror film, then what's something that not everyone's going to want to watch with you, right? You kind of thing.
Unconventional. So I don't know if people will say this is unconventional, but I think it is. So Cabin in the Woods, number one, like to me, one of the best done horror movies, but like it's funny and scary.
Do people get it? Do people get it? Right.
That's the thing. Like I think you can take so many things from it. And do people get it? That's a great question. And the ending, you didn't have to, you know what I mean? But they did. If you've never seen, I don't want to spoil it.
Well, we spoil on this show, but that's up to you. You can decide if you want to spoil it or not. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I mean, in most horror movies, things don't go as well as you'd like them to.
No, they don't.
This is probably the worst way that you probably the worst outcome that could probably happen. In a horror movie happened in that movie. So,
and for me, the best part, I enjoyed it, but then at the end, when they play 9 Inch Nails, is it I feel terrible because I love it's one of my favorite 9 Inch Nails song. It's not Wish, it's Last by 9 Inch Nails. That song is fantastic, and they played that. The credits, I was like, you got me, I'm in. Good.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of also it was just a love letter, I think, to like horror movies in general, because it had everything. It literally almost had like your slasher type. It had your like your creepy puzzle like kind of figure. It had like the Ring kind of like guy figure. It had and you have your classic like Cabin in the Woods with your teenagers and the different like kind of types of people that would be in those kind of scenarios. So it was just great. And it was like, I didn't know what to expect. I went in thinking it was going to be a straight horror movie, and I ended up laughing my ass off, which was really awesome. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
2 comments here for unconventional. Splinter and The Shrine. Do you know about either one of those? I don't.
No.
Okay. Well, those are ones we'll write those down. Splinter. Okay.
Splinter and The Shrine. So I think I might have heard of Splinter, but I can't. I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
So here we go. This is one of my last questions for you is what are you looking for? What do you want to see next? Because I know we've talked about, I saw Alien Romulus,
Yeah.
What are you pumped and what do you want to see next? Or, you know what? Doesn't need to be a new film. It can be, but what's on your list too? Like, what are you gonna? What's the next to watch?
I mean, we talked about this at work, but like horror fans are eating good. I think.
Oh, Nosferatu. We talked about that. That's coming out. Oh,
Nosferatu. Did you know they're doing a Salem's Lot?
Yes, I did. So that's wonderful because that book is so damn good.
It's so good.
That 70s movie is just so campy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The miniseries they made was poo-poo, and it's like, just give me this. Come on, yeah.
Yeah. So I read the book after I saw the campy.
It's so good.
I know. I read it after I saw the series because my mom loved the series and she knew I liked horror, so I watched it with her.
It's so good.
Yeah, but Salem's Lot, I'm looking forward to that coming out. Yeah, definitely Nosferatu. And then yes, I just recently I heard they were coming out with another werewolf movie, like a Wolfman movie.
Oh, you said okay. Well, tell me about this. This looked good. What is this movie?
It's just a teaser right now, but I think it's the same director from the guy who did the Black Phone. Have you seen that?
Not okay. Yeah, Black Phone, but also, oh my God, what else?
Shoot, I'm drawing a blank because you mentioned it before.
Yeah, he did something else that was good too.
Dang, I can't remember. But I'm looking
anyway.
Yeah, but
it looked good. The trailer looked excellent.
Yeah, the trailer was awesome, and they got the whole atmosphere right. I think it was just like, you know, again, you're with a group of people. I think it's smart that they look like it's kind of a small group, like a family, and they're just trying to like beat, I guess, a werewolf, but it kind of looks like that one of them might be like the werewolf, that they just don't realize that they are like that monster. So I don't know, but the vibe is there. Like it's a family. They're trying to kind of navigate this whole dilemma of like the werewolf being out there, and yeah, I mean, this director, I'm just looking forward to seeing what he's going to do, because I love the Black Phone. I love how he built up the suspense, and oh man, I mean, it's more of like a thriller. Yeah, it's more of like a thriller suspense film, but like Ethan Hawke killed it.
He's great. He's great. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he killed it, and yeah, how they built the suspense around, I think that movie. If he can recreate that kind of suspense in this new Wolfman movie, I'm there. I mean, I'm there regardless, but I'm for that as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all that coming up. So
here's one that and this is, you know, we're going to steal from Scream here. Well, obviously, this is a question that I can't answer. Ooh. I feel like it's like asking someone who has like 7 kids, like, who's your favorite child or something.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a minute ago how the wolf scared you real bad. Mm-hmm. What's something that just truly, even now, if you watch it, what's something that's going to just mess you up? What's something that's going to scare the crap out of you?
Oh man, what's going to scare the crap out of me? That's it.
Or did, okay, like for me, like Blair Witch. I mean, I love it. I love it.
Oh, I see. It
utterly terrified me. I mean, I was like frozen with terror for like 24 hours.
Yeah. I'll have to say, oh man, it has to be, man. So whenever I watch The Ring, I mean, everybody's watched it.
We did an episode on The Ring.
Yeah. So when I watched it in theaters, like I was a teenager. I'm dating myself back then. Okay,
that girl's face in the closet, dude.
Yeah, that killed me, and it made me paranoid. I literally I probably made these figments of my imagination. I saw rings everywhere, like just randomly pop up in different.
And you were afraid the phone was going to ring and someone.
Yes. And this was back when like cell phones weren't really a thing, and we still had a landline. So when it was like midnight or whatever, and we got a call or something,
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I'm like, who's calling at midnight? You know, or 11 o'clock at night. So I mean, that movie I think still freaks me out. And if there's a landline phone and it rings at 11 o'clock or sometime,
you're not answering it.
I'm not gonna answer it. No, I'm just gonna leave it alone.
So, probably a good idea.
Yeah. So that still gets me, I think.
Andre, thank you, man. We covered a lot of stuff here. I appreciate you coming on, and we will forever be talking all kinds of great stuff.
Thanks, sir.
You had one. Do we want people to follow an Instagram account called It's Truffles?
I threw it out there. If you want to see, I don't have like a horror Instagram or YouTube, but if you want to see some cute puppies after watching The Ring, you know, make yourself feel a little bit better, or you want to.
We love dogs on this show, and you know what we always say: You know, you can blow people's heads off all day, but don't hurt any animals. And we always just seen that reviewing a movie where a dog gets killed. And we're like, what are we doing?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. No, we always ask like,
Yeah.
is Boomer okay? Is like, so that's the dog from Independence Day, So
Yep.
yeah. But
we love dogs. It's a good point.
Yeah, so go over there after watching a scary movie, and there's some cute photos over there. So
There you
it's
go.
it's
It'll make
not
you
truffles.
warm and fuzzy. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
That was fun. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. One comment we have on here I noticed was a great remake coming up, People Under the Stairs. Okay, that movie is great, the original. And if they're going to remake that, I think I did hear that. I am on board with that. But we move on. We're halfway through guests. We're having a great time. Send your questions and comments and chats in there. I see a bunch. This is really good. Thank you all for doing this. So next up, I got an author coming on. Larissa's coming on. She is born and raised in the DC area. She enjoys spending time with her family and her friends. We all do. Writing fiction, photography, and exploring places time forgot. Larissa's coming on. I want to hear more about, I want to mention two things. One thing we did together, which was really awesome, and something we're going to do again tomorrow. It's going to be really awesome, too.
Yes. We always have adventures.
Yes, we do. I want to talk, of course, the first question, obviously, is what is the favorite Friday the 13th film? We have to start with that. Go ahead.
First off, I'm going to apologize. My cat's moving, so I'm going to, he might photobomb.
Video call, would it be without a pet in it? Come on.
Almost every time I do an Instagram video, he photobombs.
Yes.
People expect it.
Yes.
My favorite one, I binged Friday the 13th series from like 2004 to 2005. And
there you yes, I love it.
I apologize. So I haven't seen too many as an adult, but I remember at the time thinking that part 6 was my favorite because I thought it was funnier than the rest. Okay. And then of course you had He's Back, The Man Behind the Mask by Alice Cooper. I remember that playing in the end credits, and I love that song.
That's right.
So
I've seen that on Instagram all day today. People have been playing that all day today. It's a good one. Yeah. All right, 6. So that's the funny one I always like because that's where they bring him back to life with the giant lightning rod in the cemetery. That's always good. I think that's it. Jason Lives, right? Part 6. I think that's it.
Like I said, I binged those so long ago. I remember the Jason X. I love the scene with the or he's got the two women in the sleeping bags. So that part always cracked me up.
Or that's the movie where he takes the person and he dumps them in like the ass or not the cryo, whatever, and he freezes their face and smashes it. Do you remember that? Oh yeah. Jason X, not a great movie, but anyway. Okay, so you do Urbex, yeah?
Mm-hmm. I do.
All right, for those who don't know, urban exploration. I love to go see old abandoned places. I don't get to go to them a ton. One, just because you got to be careful. A lot of them you will get in trouble for. I'm too old to be going and getting a ticket for trespassing for something. And some of them are just straight up dangerous, but some are cool. I went to some of the old hospitals that are around here out in Maryland over the years. Where and any good ones you recommend or you've been or you want to go, or like, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, say too much because you may not want to spoil a good spot either, right? So.
Well, let's see. I definitely agree. I mean, I don't want to be trespassing or anything, but there's some places that if you ask, they'll let you in. And if you like pay the property owners, or if you find them online, you can pay and then sign a waiver and they'll let you in.
Okay.
Like that. Now the old Lorton prison here in Lorton, Virginia, that's one I like to walk around. Some parts are more accessible than others, but I also volunteer there. So there've been times where like, oh, just go put something in that door. It's unlocked. And I found like the abandoned gym that's like not accessible to the public for the prisoners used. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So that's cool. There was an abandoned school that I went to in Pennsylvania. Friends were doing a photo shoot and they said, hey, if you want to come along, you can come along too. So it closed in the 80s. So it was in pretty bad condition in Pennsylvania. But there were, I guess they left bodies there during the Spanish flu or something. So the place was haunted, and someone tried to break in a couple years ago and they fell into the abandoned pool and died. And it was just like one thing after another. That was interesting to see though, with the architecture. I've been to a few different abandoned prisons. Those are kind of fun.
You've been to Eastern State in Philly?
I have not been Eastern State. That's one I would like to go to.
Yeah. I want to fly my drone over one of these places. I think that would be amazing. I really want to do that.
The aerial shots, yes.
And some of these folks that you read, these YouTube videos, these people are in these places and they're doing incredible shots with gear. And it's just like, damn, you just don't care. You're just going to go in there and you're going to get your shots and you get busted, whatever. I mean, that's amazing. That stuff is really fun because it's just something about like the decay, right?
Yeah.
This beat up and the way it looks and the graffiti and everything is just really, really, I think that's really cool.
It feels like you're in a horror movie.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It does. So you are an author.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about stuff you've written, horror genre and things like that.
All right. Well, I've written 2 very short books so far. First one is Anthology of the Abandoned. So it's going back to the Urbex, abandoned places, creatures, things. The first one is based on the old Landmark Mall here in
right down the street from me. Yep.
For those of you watching, if you've seen Wonder Woman 1984, that's the mall they filmed in.
Yeah, that's right.
So I wrote a story in that book where like these mannequins come and attack people. I won't say their motive, but there's something there. And then I wrote a second book this one wasn't horror, but it was like a Christmas fantasy, but kind of set up like a D&D game. So you're hearing about these characters roll and then weird things happen. But I'm working on a found footage book at the moment and a dark fantasy. So I'll try to get those out sometime sooner than later.
Bunny Man stuff too, maybe?
Bunny Man, that is among it, yes.
And of course, everyone's seen my Bunny Man piece. If you haven't, shame on you. You should go watch it. But yes, love the Bunny Man story. That's the best. Love that. So we should talk about something awesome that we got to do, right? Last month, we should mention that. So you were the one that told me about that. I think you messaged me and you were talking about Georgetown University having a archive of all the Exorcist documents and photos and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's so obvious to me after I lived here forever. And I'm like, I never even thought about this. And because then I reached out. I think you sent me a link to actually the site that had it. And I said, wow, this exists. Holy crap. And I started digging and finally got a hold of the woman who runs it. And we set that up. Tell everybody about what we got to do. That was like early last month, or early August, right? Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. It just happened that I found it. I think I was Googling Exorcist Georgetown or something pretty generic and it came up. So I was like, okay, well, I know you do the tours and they'll probably like this. But the things we went through, oh my gosh, the Polaroids of people on set, including Ellen Bernstein. We got to see the negatives. We got to see a pay stub for The Exorcist 3.
With the white gloves and everything.
The white gloves, there were artifacts. Yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought the Polaroids were kind of fun because those are things they're not published online, and we couldn't post the pictures that we saw. But
unfortunately, we couldn't post anything.
The originals. Right. I thought that was cool. So, what was one of your favorite things about?
The most favorite thing for me was there was that one photo that we got to hold, and it was. So you think about the movie, you think about one of the famous scenes from it, where Father Merrin shows up at the house, and he comes to do the exorcism, and you've seen it. The shot is from behind her. She opens the door, and he's there shrouded, and he's got the hat on. He's in shadow. You see the house, and we got to hold that photo of someone who was on that set in October of 1972, taking a photo of that set with them at the door of the house at 3600 Prospect Street. You've all been there. With the lights and the gel, so it's that blue color. I mean, that's like the closest I could ever get to being there, and it was like this moment of like, oh my, hair standing up kind of thing. Like it was incredible. It was incredible to be able to hold that picture in my hand.
It was so interesting, and I believe you brought this up while we were there. With the you could see all the additional lights that they had set up for the lighting in that scene. So you really got a good behind the scenes feel for it.
Some of those pictures that they took were just incredible. They were, that guy, whoever the person was that took it, was just, some of those shots were great. And people was hanging out in their chairs and they're having a good time. The going guy smoking the cigar, I think, or something. And that was
all like wrapped up in their winter jackets. Yeah.
It was late October, I guess. And, it was probably very late. They probably shot this from probably 11 p.m. till maybe 6 a.m. It was probably a very late night, overnight shoot. And this is all for free, right? Like we didn't have to pay a dime for this to see all this stuff. It was incredible. One comment we had here was also the Lorton Prison does like the Halloween like maze and like whatever thing.
Yes.
We went to that once. They still do that? They still do like a haunted trail thing?
I worked it last year.
Did you?
You can either like work, you can pick and choose which days you want to work, or you can work the whole thing
Okay.
all month. But yeah, they it's different trails around the prison, and the prison is huge. And only
It's
part
big.
of it has been belongs to the Workhouse Arts.
Workhouse
yeah.
Arts. That's it,
Workhouse
right? Yeah.
Arts Center.
Yep.
But
I thought they did a pretty good job. I went the first year and it was, you know, growing pains, whatever, but I thought it was pretty good. And I realized with the real estate and I mean, the sky was like the limit to me. Like, I can't imagine what you could do with all this room, right?
when did you go? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, God. 2017, maybe?
Okay,
wanna
because
say.
I
It was the
think they've
first year of
gotten
it, so
better.
whatever that year was. Whatever that
I
year
think
was.
they've gotten better since then.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they don't do the movie nights outside anymore, which is a shame because I remember watching Friday the 13th Part 4, like on the big screen. There's these little kids walking by during a sex scene. I'm like,
Nice.
okay, no one
Yeah.
driving movie night for that.
That's awesome.
But they've made it more themed nowadays, so it's not just Jason and Pennywise running around. So they tried to work with more of a storyline now. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out again. It was, I thought it was good. I'm definitely would worth, from where I live, Field of Screen, whatever, like, and what's the big one, other big one in Maryland, Markoff. It's a long way away. And it's a serious drive. And it's like, I just want to go get scared. I want to drive just down the street. That's only like a half an hour. So I'm fine with that. So, okay. Friday the 13th stuff. So you've binged them, you watched them. What do you like about the films? What are ones you hate? You said the favorite one was, what one do you hate, and what do you feel about like the legacy and like just of the film, of the series itself, right?
I don't recall any that I really hated.
That's a
The
good thing.
legacy definitely it carried on this whole slasher legacy. I mean, obviously Halloween pretty much started it all, but this was the second one.
That's what I say. Yeah, it was.
I was reading online. I guess this was the first one was an independent film, and this was the first time an independent film got worldwide rights. So it made a really big impact at first.
Like cultural impact of the series, I guess is my question, right? Yeah, that kind of thing, right?
Okay, yeah. Well, I got you a question for you. Have you seen The Final Girls?
No.
That's it's so blatantly based off Friday the 13th. It's one of my favorite movies, but it's
Who's in it?
comedy. Taissa Farmiga.
Oh, okay. Who else? From, of course, her sister Vera Farmiga, right?
In the yellow suit. Someone from Arrested Development.
When did it come out? A couple years ago?
It's 2015.
Oh, okay. So actually a minute ago. I've heard of it. Okay, I haven't seen it though.
Okay, I won't give too many spoilers, but basically it's about this woman who was in this Friday the 13th kind of film, and it goes to as an actress, she doesn't really do anything else with her life, and then she dies in the real world, and her daughter is mourning her death and gets sucked into the film.
Oh, really?
So they as horror film experts, they know they're like, oh, this is what we should do to survive and whatever. But at the same time, she's seeing her mother as the character she plays in the 80s, and she gets to interact with her mother again. So it's like a really interesting, it's mostly comedy, but it's very, very Jason-like with the killer.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen, oh, sorry, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say that. Then we always got some good parodies, of course, like the Merkins with Jason and the slashers and all that.
Did you see American Horror Story 1984?
No, I saw the first.
Watch that series? Okay. They did one of their, I love that show. Show's fantastic. And they did one season, 1984. And it essentially is Camp Crystal Lake. And really is happening it's happening all at the camp. And the graphics, and it was just so well done. It was just because it totally encapsulated that time period of when those movies were made. I thought that was just really that was so interesting. Yeah. What have you read any? And I know all these slasher series make like novelizations. Have they ever done like a novelization of Friday the 13th? Have you ever seen anything or read anything?
I want to say they did. I'm not sure. I know there were some comics. I remember trying to find them when I was binging the series, and they were like, "Oh, you're 14. You know, we can't get it to you." So
Right.
I definitely remember trying to get my hands on a copy in the comic book store. But
yeah, because I've never seen. I've heard of like the graphic novelizations of like Halloween's and stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen Friday the 13th wise. I don't know that I've ever seen that. So I asked this one earlier. If they made another one, what direction? What would you want to see in this if they made a new film? What could be if your choice? What would it be about? Prequel, whatever. Like what would you want to see?
I feel like they should take it in a different direction. I love how the movie Prey. We've all seen like a million of the same Predator movies, but they took it back in the colonial era. So a different spin on something. Maybe even Jason during the holidays. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Jason go after people at Christmas and, bringing people up with Christmas lights.
I'm all for more horror-themed holiday films. I mean, Brad, bring it on. Treevenge, we'll plug it again with that.
I'll have to watch that after this.
You need to go to YouTube and watch Treevenge. You will thank Christina and Sarah for that one. I promise you. Tell us more about photography stuff you do.
Yeah, I do. Aside from the Urbex photography, I do some toy photography. So
yeah, talk about that. I'm interested in hearing about that.
Unfortunately, it's not always horror, but I think it's fun to scale things down. And so I've got my Funkos. I have some NECA figures, Star Wars Black Series, trying to make them look like they're life size. That's what I was actually doing in the abandoned school. When my friend was doing a photo shoot, I'm like scrounging around and trying to take pictures in the abandoned place. Got some good photos of Nightmare Batman Funko and with floorboards ripped up. So
nice.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It was definitely a good hobby to get into right before the pandemic. So
okay.
It was another thing to do when we're all isolated.
Oh yeah, sure, of course. What have you ever had? Here's a question. I wanted to ask more people, and I thought of it now. People always associate Friday with bad luck. Have you ever had anything like really bad happen to you on a Friday the 13th?
I've never had anything bad happen. I had something really good happen to me on a Friday the 13th.
I've heard people say that too. They have good things. Yes, they have like great things happen to them. Yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah, it was like getting accepted into a school. So that I was real happy about. So, nice. Which is what I wanted. But yeah, other than that, no bad experiences yet. Knock on wood. So.
We're gonna keep it that way. Mm-hmm. Speaking of not bad experiences, where are you and I going to be tomorrow at 5:00-ish? Tell everybody about that.
Oh man, we're going to be in Burkittsville, so the home of the Blair Witch.
What are we doing in Burkittsville tomorrow?
We're doing a screening of the Blair Witch Project and with some of the cast and crew. So
25 years. Yeah.
I can't believe that. 25 years.
I know. I know. So did you went last year?
I did go. That was the first time they did a screening.
Yeah.
So I was there, and I'm going to be a vendor there this year. So
yeah, that's awesome.
There.
Do you know J.W. Oker? Ben, do you know J.W.?
I do not. Who is that?
Okay, he's gonna be there. He's a writer too. He's gonna be there tomorrow. He'll be a vendor. I'll introduce you to him. He is an awesome dude. He might. No, he's on the road. I think maybe he's coming down for this if he's listening. Been on the show. Love the guy. Oddthingsiveseen.com. Go check it out. JWOCKER. I'm plugging him right now. And I'll tell him tomorrow.
Writing that down.
And I'll say, you're welcome tomorrow. Yeah, great writer, cryptid stuff, lived in Salem, wrote a book about it. Really awesome stuff. He'll be there tomorrow. He used to live right down the street from where the diner is in Brunswick, actually. He has a good story about that. But I digress. But anyway, yeah. So I'm really, my poster is sitting out in my living room. It's ready to get signed. I'm ready for Ed to sign. I've never met Ed in person. I had him on the show, but I haven't met him in person yet. So I think it's going to be a really good turnout. I think I've been reading a lot of great posts. A lot of people we all know are going to come tomorrow. It's going to be a really, really, really fun thing. I think I'm really looking forward to it.
Have you met Susie or Ingrid or
no, I haven't.
Or Swanson?
No.
The mom, the baby, and the fisherman.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have him sign.
Nice, so.
I'm gonna have him sign tomorrow for me for sure. That's gonna be great. I wish Heather and Josh and Mike were coming, but
yeah.
I
wish we had a huge list of who's all coming, but I believe those three. Eduardo Sanchez will probably be there. And I was told Jen Shepard might be there.
Okay.
Who's the director of Host from 2020.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm not familiar with but
that was a good movie. I'd recommend that one.
We're talking about the Zoom call movie.
Yeah.
Marie reviews everything. It's been on the show with us. She's awesome. She's a big found footage guru. And she said Host is like one you should definitely watch. And sorry, Marie, if you're watching, I still haven't seen it. But yeah, so that's fantastic. Thank you for coming on. This is a lot of fun. And
yeah, well, thank you for having me.
We're going to have even more fun tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. I'll see you then.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So here we go. We're getting there, folks. I hope you guys are having a good time. I'm going to quote David Letterman from when he introduced White Zombie on his show once. My next guest might quite literally blow the roof off the dome. He's an audio-visual professional. He's a bass player. He's a fine whiskey connoisseur. He's an adopted dog dad. He's a big B movie horror fan. He's been on this show multiple times. You guys know Bill Vaughn. He is on this program now. Bill Vaughn, how the heck are you, my friend?
I am good. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good, man. We've had some good guests.
I'm enjoying all of this conversation.
Yeah.
I see Trey on. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, so no, everybody was great. I mean, it's so amazing when you have so many people who are fans of the horror genre, which is, of different backgrounds and everything. It's incredible to me.
It's a lot of fun, especially when I was talking with Larissa, how the small world stuff. I mean, we're both going to be there. The circle, the folks that are, I can't tell you how many people I've read in the last week that have posted, can't wait till the screening. And I'm like, oh, you're going to be there. Oh, you're going to be there. Oh, you're going to be there. It's like, yeah, it's going to be all these people. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes.
It's going to be so much fun. All right. So, you know the first question.
Okay.
Which one? Which is your favorite Friday the 13th? Which one is it?
Number one.
Okay. That seems to be.
Grittiness of it is and I think I saw it when I was young.
Yeah.
And it was like, so I saw a group of horror movies at the same time when I was young. Between my mother being a huge horror movie fan, film fan back in the day.
I love that.
And my cousin Terrence used to watch late night movies or go to the all night movies with him. He was a bit older. He was like maybe 10 years older than me. Yeah. He is 10 years older than me. So I would say Friday 13th was one of my favorites. I saw that right behind Chainsaw Massacre, which was that was an all night movie. Amityville Horror.
Oh yeah,
the original. I mean, I saw all these movies like within probably about maybe a 2-week time frame.
Yeah,
and it by far, Friday 13th is probably the first one. Is probably my favorite, just because it's just raw and gritty and really,
it's good.
Like B movie level. Enjoy.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of B movies, I hope everybody got to watch our episode on Street Trash.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad that it's good.
That movie is bananas. And we're trying to do an episode. We'll tease it. I want to do this movie, the Abomination. I talked to you about that.
Yes. Oh,
this movie looks like someone shot it in their garage on a Saturday afternoon.
I mean, I don't want to give it away, but that movie is all over the place.
Did you see it? I haven't watched it yet. Did you watch it? Okay.
I'll rewatch it again so I can capture something.
Dude,
it's just all over the place. So poorly filmed.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I mean. It looks like someone got a camera and said, "Hey, come on over for the weekend. I'll get some pizza and we'll make this movie somehow." And they made a movie, I guess. I don't know what to say. So I think I told you about the tour, right? When I went on the tour last year at the camp, dude.
Yeah,
that place was incredible. I encourage everyone to go on that thing because I haven't talked enough about it tonight. But man, that was so much fun to go on. And
I wish I could go. Yeah, that's something I should put on my bucket list for sure.
And then I just went into New York City like later that day, and because you're essentially, I was staying like in between the camp and the city, and I forget the city I was in, but I was able to do it all. So I just went there, came back, and then I was supposed to go on a panel. Eli Roth was supposed to show. It was a long story, didn't make it, whatever. But I did all these like Friday the 13th themes in that one day. It was like amazing. So tell me, you like the fact of what? Significance of the film and like timing, year of it, like break it down, right? Original Friday 13th.
Like with the slasher movies, it came at a particular time, what they call the golden era of serial killers, which
pretty
was
much
1970 to 2000.
So you know what? The one thing I'll say is people always say this. Now, I don't like the film, and I know people will beat me up for it. I don't care for Black Christmas, 1974. They say that was the first one, the POV and everything. Whatever. Halloween is it for me. All the guests have said it tonight, and then it kind of became Friday. No, so anyway, okay. So golden age, like you said.
I mean, it's just you look at the history of the horror genre, whether it's writing, cultural stories, you know, in villages and things like that, going on to the movies. Early movies, we had Dracula, Frankenstein. So you had that era that really fed off the old, you know, written, you know, all the old books. We moved into the sci-fi era of the 50s and all that when UFOs were about. So you had some of the sci-fi horror and some of these out of the world
nuclear giant ants and bugs and spiders and stuff.
Exactly, exactly. You know, so you had that era. And then you also had the era of, like, you know, the devil versus God, you know, sort of movies.
Satanic Panic and
I mean, you had The Omen, you had Rosemary's Baby, you know, all those type of movies. But then this came right at a time, like these movies came at a time when, you know, you had your Charles Mansons, you know, you had all these serial killers that really, you know, like when they say, you know, art imitates life, it's almost like this was unheard of, because before then, America was still like Leave It to Beaver, Baker. He grew up in Bakersfield or something. Like nobody would imagine.
Mayberry from like
Mayberry was Opie. That was Opie.
What was the TV show? The Andy Griffith show. There you go. And that was what was great about Chainsaw, because it just come out of Vietnam and everyone was all screwed up and
I mean, you think about like the between the homelessness, the drug use. I mean, there was some scary stories, and now they were more exposed at that particular point. So, you know, I think it's funny how the horror genre kind of wraps itself around certain historical, you know, eras in history. You know, so this is definitely a prime example. I mean, you know, you had Ed Gacy, you had all these different people who were committing these horrible crimes that you never really, outside of Jack the Ripper, you never really heard that much horror, you know, that's alive. And I think what made it more scary is that these were no longer fictional monsters.
No, they weren't.
These were real monsters. These were people. This is your neighbor.
Yeah,
you know. So I mean, it's. I remember. So when I was growing up, my neighbor, he was schizophrenic in a very extreme way, and he had very old parents. Right. He was older than me. He was probably maybe 15, 20 years older than me. So his parents went out of town, and they had a little collie. Long story short, collie was buried in the backyard by the time the parents came home.
Oh boy!
One time, a lady came running out the house, butt naked, down the street from him. I mean, it's just. But that was like literally right next door. My window faced his window.
Yeah.
So, and that's where these movies, you know, for me, really hit home, because, like, these are everyday people that can just kill you for no reason.
You know what's funny? I talked with my friend Lisa Horror Macaroni on an episode. We did a couple. We did American Psycho, and we talked about the end. What did we get from the movie? Who are people? And it's like, you see on the news when, you know, some guy goes and kills, or the student shoots whatever. Oh, we just couldn't believe he was such a nice person. Anyone is capable of anything.
Yes.
The fact that we still get shocked by that, you should not get shocked, though. Like, you shouldn't, right?
Because, I mean, Hollywood always showed people in a one-dimensional kind of way.
Right.
In reality, with the news, mass broadcasts, it started growing that much more. You really had to see the multi-dimensions of the human nature.
Yeah, man.
It's not just one way of somebody being something. So it was always a dangerous situation.
Right.
You know, so I mean, that era of serial killers, I mean, that was, you name them, they were there. You know, Hillside Stranglers.
Right.
You know, so it's not much of a difference between what happened in Crystal Lake and what was happening, especially in LA, you know, all those places.
And you think about like think about the stories of like each of these main, so like Jason, you know, well, he's drowned, I guess, right? As a kid, he's tormented, but then he comes back and he sees his mother kill whatever. Michael Myers is just pure evil. You know, he's the Shape. And then, of course, it spins out of control. Freddy Krueger comes back from the, you know, because he was, you know, killed by the parents. He was a pedophile, whatever.
Yeah.
Leatherface is just, you know, he's just this, you know, nothing really with his family. They're just being, you know, what he's told. But like, you know, all these people, like someone telling me they kind of almost in a way sympathize with Leatherface in a way, in that weird kind of way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's obviously mentally ill.
I mean, he grew out of dysfunction.
Yeah, he's all screwed up, and he doesn't know any better. He's
doing inbred, you know, all that.
Oh God, yeah. So it's like, if you look and you break it down, like, yeah, these people got issues, man. They got problems, and obviously, when you go to Jason X in space, that's another story, of course. But like, the first couple of films, like, you can get it, right? It's conceivable. people do crazy
People do
things.
crazy
Like,
things. I mean, too many times, these stories were swept under the rug, or they were,
yeah.
like just old wives' tales, or just, just urban myths and things like that. But yeah, but you got to see people really killing people in a way that you didn't think was humanly possible. You didn't see that much inhumanity in one place.
How do you think Friday the 13th, what would it be if it was just the original movie and they never made a sequel? Where would it be? Would it be nothing? Would it be something?
I think it would be something, because I think it was an instrumental movie. It was a shocker. Because again, outside of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas, and that was just one of those movies that it was a big grindhouse / late night movie film, so it always had rotation.
Yeah.
Constantly. So I think it has stayed in rotation. Same way with some of the movies we talked about, like some of the B movie classics, will always have a certain place in people's hearts. Like maybe it's a part in your childhood that you remember, but I mean, it'll live forever. And then you have Kevin Bacon in it, so I mean that itself.
Yeah, that's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, whatever. So, all right, you are an audio engineer. So, what do you think of the? How do you like the? Do you like that? Do you like that?
Yeah, because it's a build up. Yeah. When you hear that, it's like the oh damn, yes, it's like something's about to happen. Yeah, whoever thought, who had the idea to do that from the beginning, that was just incredible.
Is it Manfredini? Is that
okay?
The guy I think who wrote it?
Exactly.
That's what I want to say. Yeah, I do wonder sometimes if it had just been that film standing alone, because we talked to Andre earlier. Look how different it is from the original film to like Jason X. I mean, the character is there, but they could not be more different, right? I think
it evolved with whatever culturally was happening in the moment. It evolved with that. Same thing with Halloween. Halloween evolved over time.
There was never intention for. I mean, well, most of these guys, they don't intend to make sequels. They never do, and they just always they take a life of their own and they go do their own thing, right? And then it gets totally out of control. So let me ask you this: how excited are you? I know you love Nosferatu. We did our episode on Nosferatu.
Yes.
How excited are you for this new one that comes out on Christmas?
Extremely.
Yeah, I know.
Extremely. I mean, this movie.
It looks good.
I mean, it looks good. It was one of those movies that the movie was so dark.
Yeah.
And without having words, it still told a story. I mean, it was so. I won't say it's low budget, because they did have some some techniques.
I don't know what low budget meant back then, though. So I don't really know.
I mean, some of the shadowing they did, with remember the one shot when he's with the nails in it, he's on top of the stairs. I mean, yes. I mean,
he's crawling. Yeah, that we mentioned that. It's one of the most iconic images in all, not just in horror, in cinema.
Yes.
That shot of him his shadow crawling up the stairs is an iconic cinema moment. Yes.
Yes. I mean, so I think, like, moving forward when it comes to films, I think what made horror films really work, or have longevity back then, there was always some sort of under like some sort of subcurrent, some other story beneath it, some other meanings behind it. People say you get Easter eggs and things like that. And I think some of these movies do it. I think one person that did it well was Jordan Peele with Get Out. There was so many underlying stories that really reflected social, cultural moments at the time. And a lot of horror movies were just the same way. I mean, and they were gritty because, these people filming with Super 8 and just cheap equipment and doing the real, pirated style, but it worked beautifully because, as Andre was saying earlier, what made, Chainsaw Massacre look so great to me is like, it looked like it was a lost tape film. It looked
and I had never really thought about it in a found footage mind. Never had that mindset, but it really does work, doesn't it?
And that movie scared you from the beginning to the end. When the girl was running down the street, trying to get.
When we saw it at MoMA, it was great. It was so.
I wish I could have gone. Oh,
dude! I was telling Andre, I was telling him, watching the audience for me was fun because I know I've seen the movie, waiting for those moments and the jump scare and the people.
Yeah.
But the best line I remember Rob Zombie once saying in this watching best 100 movie moments or whatever, and he's thinking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, are these crazy people or are these actors? Because these crazy people really can act.
They can really act. I mean, they embrace that character.
Yeah, man.
You have some actors who are really crazy people. I mean, crazy people in the sense of not like you, I guess.
Well, they get it. Like Christian Bale when he gets into like
Yes.
Batman, like you don't F with me, right? Like I'm going to be this person, right? Yeah.
I mean, we start talking about the Joker, you know, with you know.
Oh man, how good! Oh, do you want to see? Are you looking forward to this new part 2 of the Joker or whatever, the second one with Lady Gaga now?
Yes.
I saw the first one. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
That's a good example of someone who's clearly got problems. And I mean, she was great in Horror Story. How good was she?
She was incredible.
The Countess or whatever she was. Oh my God, she was good.
Hotel, she was amazing.
I would only assume she's going to be fantastic. As she's going to be what Harley Quinn, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that who she's going to play? I guess, yeah.
But in terms of horror, though, her whole, even the way her makeup was and her just basic facial features
so good.
Gave it a bit of animalistic kind of feel. Because at the end of the day, most of your horror characters are really animalistic. You know, they're hunters.
Sure.
You know, and you're the prey.
Yep. That's essentially all it is. Talking about getting into character, you think about people like Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal Lecter.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's just like so. Now there's a great example of a completely insane character, yet he's the most charming, outgoing person you'd ever meet. But he'll eat you. I mean, you know,
the multi dimensions of humanity. I mean,
but that was such a great twist because you know there are plenty of. And it sounds weird to say there are plenty of cannibals. There are. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah.
But this guy was like a socialite. He was this well-known psychologist, and
yes,
he was going to kill
parties and everything else. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, it just lets you know that I think that's what, to me, in my eyes, that's what makes it scary, even scarier, because these are people that you interface with.
Yeah, dude, you don't know what they're doing.
What happens behind closed doors, you know? And I think that's why, you know, Friday the 13th, the Stalker and slasher films, to me are the greatest because this can happen.
Yeah,
I hate to say it. It's feasible.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When I was on that tour, there's a daytime. We did a daytime. There's a nighttime tour too, and I would do it. I would definitely do it. But it really is cool to walk down those trails and walk across the lake, and you know it's all funny, but at certain times you're kind of going like this.
Yes.
you're just kind of making sure everything's okay back there, making sure no one with a mask is, you know, creeping up on you and checking on you. And, it's like one of those things, but, I think that I feel like it's exhausted. Have you heard about this prequel or whatever TV show they're going to do now? Have you been hearing about that?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if it's going to be historically done. Now, I will say you have a lot of these new movies that are coming out that are being, you know, like throwback to the 80s and all those things. I think some were mentioned tonight. I'm just curious about historical, you know, aspects of it. You know, just make sure it's true to something that would lend to the future story.
I do love a prequel, and I do want to see what happened before and the torment and all that stuff with him. I would like to see that. I would.
You know, remember they did that with Halloween. You know, you got to see.
So Rob Zombie did that.
Yeah,
and that was the kind of the first part of his remake. I saw the Pet Cemetery remake, or sorry, the remake that was awful. The prequel, Bloodlines, whatever it was called.
How was that?
I liked it. So I am in love with the book. I mean, I read it 3 times. We had an episode. I rambled about this. Just the whole like idea of a burial ground in your backyard that summons the dead is like just this insane story to me. And to know more about that for me was great. I didn't think it was that awful of a movie. It wasn't great, but I liked it. I liked it.
You know what it is? I think it's so hard to come off of a Stephen King story.
The remake was awful.
It's hard enough to do the movie based on it. I think The Shining is probably one of the greatest movies, but it took forever. You know, it was a long production and it's a long movie.
Kubrick.
And Kubrick, I mean, you had a person who can really take that in and envision that. I think, but doing sequels off of these, when you start doing sequels off of like a Stephen King film, you veer so far off of the essence of what the story was.
Yeah,
you just go straight to the gore of it. You start, you know, you don't really capture the mental side of it. You know, the psych side.
I think that was good because I think there's so many great points in the book in Pet Cemetery where he talks about Stanny B, the rag man that lived in town, and that's all he says though. And King does a great. who is that guy? What
Exactly.
happened to him? What was
You
his
gotta build
story?
off of it. Yeah.
And what was Judd's dog? And how did all that stuff? And so for me, that was cool to find out about that stuff. So I'd
Yeah.
like to see a Friday the 13th prequel. I
I
would
mean,
totally
it's,
watch
it's,
that.
it's like I said, as long as it's historically,
I would totally watch that.
if it's historically consistent to moving into the actual Friday 13th, I would love to see it. I would love
Yeah.
it. Like I said, Rob Zombie did a great job with Halloween. It gave you the real backstory of this is what happened. This how
And
it
that
got
was
to this point.
definitely Rob Zombie's world. That was definitely his universe, as you saw.
Yeah.
So, and that was definitely his thing.
Hey, thumbs up to Rob Zombie.
That's my guy.
my
That's my guy.
Grindhouse B movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
big
He
budget
makes-
man. I love his movies.
He makes great stuff. He just finished a great tour too. So Bill, thank you, man. As always. We'll do what is it? We'll do the Abomination soon.
Yes.
I need to watch it, and we'll do a review of it, and it'll be us laughing mostly for an hour.
I might have to do mushrooms or
assuming.
something before I do that. I've never done mushrooms. I might have to do mushrooms in this one. I have to really discover what's in that movie that they saw that I couldn't see. I meant to see it again. And see, it's
We'll watch it, and we'll do. We promise, folks. We've teased this now, so now we have to do it. So
exactly.
oh man, thank you, man.
My
We'll
friend,
talk soon.
Cheers. Always good to see you,
Yeah,
man.
man. You bet. Thank you,
Later.
man. Folks, we got one more. I'm saving the proverbial best for last. My next guest is a horror fanatic since birth. Wow, sounds familiar. Death metal musician. Love it. Lead guitar on Fart Hammer, guitar and vocal of Carpathian Overlords, actor and writer for Gorgastic Films. Ladies and gentlemen, to close out our show, Larry Zarabinski.
Hey, man.
How long have we been talking horror? 20 years? 25 years?
Oh yeah, it's got to be up there. It's
Something like that?
a ridiculous amount of time.
We've been talking about horror films for a very long time. I'm not even going to waste time with questions. I'm going to go right into, we're devoting the next 20 minutes to nothing but Friday the 13th because we're at the end now. And I know you got a bunch of stuff you want to bring up. I'm just going to run us through it. You want to talk about, so who's the more brutal killer, right? Jason or the Field, I guess you want to say, right? Who you taking?
So, yeah, all right.
Right?
So it's a big tough one for me because I can't just put Michael Myers because the issue with that is one will act dead, then get up while the other one walks.
He does play
away,
possum.
and then
Right.
and then that one will stab, act dead, and then it will just be a constant domino effect of them falling over and over and over again.
Pretty much.
Which would just be absolutely hilarious. But he's the closest to me. You have the strength, the brutality,
Mm-hmm.
everything. The only thing that's different now is, to me, who is it? Rob Zombie's films. It made him
Rob
more
Zombie.
Well, it made him more
Fine by
human.
me. Yeah.
And
Michael
instead
Myers.
of-
You mean? Yeah. You're saying.
Yeah. It was, instead of silent, you heard grunts when he was stabbing.
Oh my God! Part 2 when he's and he's just like,
Yeah.
oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, it's
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to say Michael Myers, but I honestly want to put a real goofball in there out of all people. I want to put the Jeepers Creepers guy.
How many years does he feed? What is it? Every how many?
Oh my God, 17?
Something like that.
Yeah.
He is not pleasant at all. Let's just say that.
I think he's the ultimate fight. He could fly. He could throw Jason into the water. He could do a whole bunch of different things.
I have a wild card for you.
Okay, bring it.
How about the Xenomorph, the aliens from the Alien movies? Pure killing machines, right? I mean, aren't they?
True.
But they're not human. So can we count them then? I don't know. Is that
Well, all right. Well, if you think of Jason movies,
he's
he
not human?
He folds people in half. He
Sleeping
slams
bag.
sleeping bag into
Let's
a
talk
tree.
about the sleeping bag. I never got to mention this. So my greatest moment and in that the kills is it part 7? He picks up a woman and
No.
her-
That's X. It's in
Is it
space.
X? I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
thought
it's
it was
in
like
space.
part
But they
6.
put the camp simulation.
And
up.
he slams her and kills her in a sleeping bag.
It's
Yes,
amazing. It's amazing.
That's the best word I can
It's
come
one
up
of the
with for it.
greatest.
It
Yeah.
really is.
It-
It really is amazing.
Absolutely. And thinking of just all the different super murders he has.
Super murders. I like that
But
word.
it's just well, there's that. And then he just The one thing that I don't understand is how he appears everywhere.
Jason,
Yeah.
he's omnipresent, dude. He's everywhere.
All right. But he's supposed to be just like a kid with he's jacked up.
Yeah,
But
He's
somehow
everywhere.
he's just like, boof, I'm here
he's
again.
he's there.
Especially when he goes to New York.
He's going
When
to get
it's-
to.
Walking is just absolutely hilarious. Like to walk and then all of a sudden a person's jogging and running and screaming and everything, and then all of a sudden there's an ambulance, and then he pops up to the other side of the ambulance. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
He's there, man.
Yeah.
So you were talking about something you were telling me about part 4, the Crystal Point, and you said it's the same as like a music video or something. What are we talking about?
No. So I was thinking of all these different names of the different locations they changed the name.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's Crystal Point was like just like I guess like another,
They would just
part?
keep changing the name when they would reopen.
Yeah,
it, like you're saying,
and then it was
yeah.
what was it, Green Valley, Green
Oh God, yes.
so Green Village. I think,
Remember.
I've got it in my notes.
Now I'm thinking of
I nerded out. I had to I had to nerd out for this one.
now I'm
like trying to
thinking
get
of what was the name of what was Land of the Dead? Where did they live? Tavern
Oh.
of the Green. Remember that? That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
popping in my head for some reason. Oh, okay. I don't remember, but yeah, when they would rename the camp every single time, right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, and it's just so it's like I've been like you guys were all talking about prequels, like
Yeah.
and then that's when I was like, where they should name it, like the town renamed, and then started that way, where it's like a prequel, but at the same time, it's like has nothing to do with Camp Crystal Lake. It's for the horror fans.
Mm-hmm.
So like the people who really know Friday the 13th will like sit there and be like, oh my God, I know
dude.
this, you know.
Yeah.
And then I just like there's so much to talk about. I don't know. It's like I'm overly excited about Friday the 13th.
So you
go
love part 4, right? Is that your favorite?
All right, so it's a tough one. Honestly, I would say either favorites are going to be 2.
2 is pretty good.
4 is way up there because it's brutality and
Corey
boobs.
Feldman. I mean, what else do you really need, right? With
Die. Honestly, Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh yeah, I know you want to talk about that, right?
Jason Goes to Hell
Yeah.
is so
Goes to Hell.
fantastic.
The
It's
lights
just
coming on and then just blowing him
yeah,
to pieces.
yeah.
and-
It's like at first it starts off like an action movie. where
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
right.
You're sitting there and you're like, it's like a CIA op, and then all of a sudden, like they're all shooting them and blow them up, and then it just turns into the most goofball movie
It's pretty
over and over again.
weird.
It is, but like
Yeah.
it's where you get very excited about like the campiness, the music. Every
Yes.
time I was like, all right, if you remember anything from like Anchor Bay or
Anchor Bay. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
or
Wow,
what is
they
it?
did the
Was it-
Halloweens.
Is it Dark Castle? films,
yeah, something
any
like
of
that. I
those,
think
like
so.
Puppet Master? Literally, the music is from straight B movies,
It's great.
but it's so phenomenal. Like
Okay.
that is absolutely awesome. I adore it, and I do want to see another. I want to see another Jason.
So what would you want to see? What do you, if there's, tomorrow there's a new one coming out. What do you want to see, right? What do you want to see?
I personally, I want it to be. I don't think I actually want a prequel. I wouldn't want to see that. I mean, just because it's just going to be it's like how they did with Freddy, where then they were like, oh, there's like emotion. Like if they revisit a story and do a prequel,
Like
then
Michael
there's gonna
Myers,
be-
he was a real person. We don't care.
Yeah,
we don't care.
I don't.
We don't
I don't
care.
want. I don't
Right.
want that.
Don't
I just want them to know that he drowned.
Yeah.
Then
I mean,
he's
there's
gonna kill everyone.
been tons of flashback scenes in all the movies of him when he's been a kid. They've done that, right?
Yeah. So like
So-
to me, I wanted to incorporate a lot of the classic kind of kills, but honestly redo it like Rob Zombie did with
Interesting.
Halloween 2. Like I want it to be
I love that Halloween
I
too.
want it to be more violent. I want it to be where it sounds like he has aggression. I don't want to hear
Yeah.
the sob story.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a pure killing machine. How you know, like they named Jaws, you know, that kind of thing. Just that's
love
all it
Jaws.
is. It's a beast.
So, are you in the category with me then, where maybe Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 might actually be better than his first one? I think that
100%.
I think I kind of
Yeah.
lean that way. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
do. Because it's this like depressing, awful, like your family is now ruined and your life is ruined, and guess what?
Yeah,
It ain't
no.
over yet. He's still
That's-
coming for you.
It
Yeah.
made you feel like you were going back to being a kid, watching the first time Halloween.
Yeah.
To me, like Halloween 2 was like, oh, this is brutal. This is
Yeah.
horrific. This is
So brutal.
scary.
Oh my goodness. Those opening scenes in the hospital, man, when they're putting her
Yeah.
back together and
Yeah,
she has the
yeah,
flooding.
yeah.
Oh my God. And she's having the awful dreams. And oh Lord, I liked it a lot. Nights in White Satin. Does he pick the best
Yeah.
soundtracks?
Dude,
I mean,
and that's what I was thinking about
man.
with all right. So if you put Rob Zombie doing it, then yes, you're gonna have that movie's kind of based more on like the 70s and the 80s.
Well, that's
kind
his
of
thing.
feel.
It's white trash 70s. That's what Rob Zombie does. And that's just what
Yeah,
he does.
all right. But I want him to do more of the
Great.
hippie.
Okay.
And he can do that hippie kind of feel.
We can do that.
I think that's the way I would love to see Friday the 13th.
Well,
like,
let's send him a message and say, listen,
Yeah,
Rob, we
yeah,
need
exactly.
you to do this. We're willing to help you out here. We'll give you whatever you need. So
yeah.
I was thinking about, did you ever see part 3 in 3D? Did you ever watch it in 3D? I didn't.
So I own it. And
Like I have the discs and everything. I just never actually watched it that way.
Yeah, I did. So I actually got it with the glasses and everything.
Yeah.
And watched it in my house. But now I just installed an outdoor theater.
Yes. And this I am hoping to come to this outdoor theater.
Mm-hmm. So we're planning to do Friday the 13th in 3D outside. I got to order glasses on Amazon anymore because I have no clue where they are in my house. It's just, and I'm gonna have like 10 friends over. So
Are you gonna do it in December when it's cold out? The next Friday the 13th in like 3 months?
It's not a problem. We have a giant fire pit.
It's done.
Yeah, not a problem.
Done. I got it.
I'll cook the most bloody meat I can.
Yeah,
and it'll
man,
be great.
exactly. Yep, you just set the scene. You have some, paired well with some beverages that go with it, and oh my goodness gracious, you can do like the on-set. This has got on-set cinema. I don't know if you know about him.
The only thing that is worrisome, and it was funny. I'm forgetting her name. Was it Leslie? Was the author?
Larissa?
Larissa. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
She brought up when the film and like kids would walk by and like.
Yeah.
I literally have it in my backyard and there's no fence. So it's always, I'm like, there's certain horror movies that you're like, oh, maybe I can't watch this outside.
Watch whatever you want. It's my property, my house.
Yeah.
Watch whatever I want. What, did you ever get to meet Kane Hodder at any of the monster cons we went to?
I did. And he is an incredibly nice guy.
Isn't he great? I have a picture of him strangling me. It's awesome.
The day I met him, which another thing on Friday the 13th, Tom Savini, meeting him.
Yep.
And it was hilarious because everyone had their like sign up booths and everything. And he just was with the t-shirts and everything.
Right.
I like just walked by and he was there and I was like, oh my God. Like, I have so many questions.
Right.
And he was like, he's like, I just want to teach people. And he's like the nicest guy too. Yeah, no, Kane Hodder is absolutely awesome. He's for not how tall he is. He's not very tall.
He's not that big. He's
a big guy.
He's thick. He's thick as hell. He's strong as hell. Right. He's not that. How would you feel about Tyler Mane, who played Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's films? How about him playing Jason?
I would absolutely. I would love.
Because the latest guy was with Derek Mears. He was okay, I guess, but Tyler Mane. 'cause
Yeah,
he's-
you need
I met
that.
him. He's enormous. Dude is like 6'7".
There's no.
You're looking at him. You're like, oh wow, you're enormous. Yeah.
And I mean, that's the opposing force that is Jason.
Yeah.
Jason is
Right.
that, and it's just yeah, it's like from child to just giant, and
Yeah.
there could be that middle area they could shoot, I guess, but I don't think I want prequel. If maybe a middle area could be a cool film where he's just like a teen. Maybe There could
Like
be
in
something.
between, like the
Yeah.
movies or something. Like
Yeah, like he might
Halloween
like he might
5.
have like feelings for chicks or something, and then but still is murderous, but doesn't know how to handle it because
like the
he's a
beginning of Halloween.
puberty.
Right. What is happening? I must kill. Like the beginning of Halloween 5 when you see he's living with that old man, and then like you think he's like living like a life, and then he murders him, and we move on with our life at that point. All right, so here you go. So you know these as well as I do too, and this is always the question with Halloween. Favorite Jason mask from which movie? Which one? Right? What do you love?
Ooh,
I know, right? That's good. His
damn.
favorite Halloween mask, like original, and part 2 was really good, and 4 is okay. Worst is like part 6. So it's like, yeah. What about Michael? What about Jason mask? Right?
Honestly, I know it's probably going to be the.
Or do you like the sack on the head, Jason?
Well, no. That I actually,
Part 2.
I actually shot a trailer
Yeah,
where I did the exact same thing. I loved it.
sack
so much.
head.
But
Yeah.
honestly, Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
That would be my.
Okay.
It's. I have such a closeness with that film because that was one where it was me and the buddies. We went out and we went to see it in the theater, and it was the first time like everyone came to opening night, and
It
it
was
was
the film everyone had waited for.
and it, but
we
it was
waited
like
decades for it.
I think we actually came in on like a special horror something, like there was
wow.
a website or something.
Okay, that's awesome.
So everyone knew every little small thing and were cheering.
Yeah, dude.
So that made that movie
Yeah.
aggressively better.
When you're with those
like
people, that base.
I was
that
like,
base,
oh,
yeah.
I know this too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was a kid.
Fan base. It's the best, dude.
And he's just I guess, but if I'd have to go honestly, I would guess it would be 3.
When he first gets the mask, right?
Yeah, when he first gets it. Like
Which film had one of the films had the blue triangles in the mask as opposed to red, didn't it?
oh man.
Right?
Blue. Yes, there is.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that the one where it's Tom? No, isn't that the garbage one? Isn't
Well,
that
the
one
worst
where
one is 5. 5 is
yeah,
the worst.
isn't that
that
the
might
one
be
where-
that might
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
because he pulls the mask out of the drawer when he's at the hospital,
yeah, at the end,
and he
right?
puts it on. It's blue
Is that
on
okay?
it, and then he
That's the
stabs her
one.
with the knife.
Okay. That movie sucked. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're definitely or Jason with the cracked broken mask, and he sticks his
Yes.
tongue out and scares everybody. Like that was oh man.
I mean, but even Jason Goes to Hell, he's got the like bumps that kind of look like cornrows. It doesn't really make any sense.
Right.
It is very
All
strange.
jacked up and
Yeah.
and I'm glad they finally stopped the jump scare of the last thing happening. It got so tired, right? Like the first one is great. Him jumping up on the boat is one of the great endings of all time.
Yes, of course.
Part 2, jumping through the window again is great. And then in part 3, it's the mother. It's like, okay, we're done with that, dude. We have to stop
Yeah,
with that stuff.
we
can't do that. We got it. We're good. We know he's coming back from the dead. We're good. You know what, man? I just remember watching the movies for so long as a kid. They were so much fun. And I got to see one on Friday. I got to see the remake on Friday the 13th, 2009 or 10, whatever. That was a lot of fun. And these movies are just fun. They're just fun to watch. They're fun to binge. The tour is really great to do. Like this whole thing is just.
When I saw the pictures that you put up of the tour,
Man.
I'm so in.
Let's go. Let's go. Dude,
My
I'll do the
wife's
I'll do the night
family
tour.
is in Jersey, so I'm a
I've
stat.
done-
we're
I've done the
in.
daytime. I'll do the nighttime tour if you guys want to do it. I'm down.
Oh, dude, I'll
man.
do nighttime tour. Are you
I'll
kidding
do it.
I
I'll
have
do
a
it.
big question for you though.
What you got?
One big one.
What you got?
What's your favorite Jason murder weapon?
Okay. Oh, that's easy. From part 7. I don't know what you call it, but it's the machine that looks like a weed whacker, but it has the saw blade on the end of it. Remember?
Yes.
And he's just,
Yeah.
and it's like a 10-foot long thing, and he's just sawing people up. That thing's amazing. Yes.
It is. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm going just as simple as possible. I think it's just
Machete.
the ice pick.
Okay.
When
When
the
he kills her at the
fridge
beginning of
scene,
part 2, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's
That's great.
it's so awful. You're like, oh. That's still my
That's what I was saying.
absolute favorite.
They kind of did her wrong by killing her that way, but hey, whatever. So, no, that was fun. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about murder weapons. I'm glad we covered that topic. And I think we've covered almost every topic, and I think we're sadly we're at the end of this, guys. We've been doing this for 2 hours. We're gonna wrap it. Thank you everyone for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time.
I love
Larry, by
everybody.
the way, you win for best. I had one thing you win for best shot with the cam setup you've got.
Oh.
But you also win for best t-shirt because you're wearing the Stuff t-shirt.
All right. Thank you. All right. If we pan the camera just a little bit here, we'll move it. We got one more amazing T-shirt over here.
Oh, serial killer!
I had to put it up for you. It's so amazing.
Oh man, that is wonderful. You see, you bring like the props and all the good stuff. We appreciate.
Yeah, and that's
Martha's
why I
Vineyard,
was.
you got the fishing hat.
Dude, I had to do Jaws.
FYI on that.
Well.
Next summer is 50 years of Jaws, if you can believe that.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't
So
know that.
I'm planning on making a little trip up there soon. I'm going to do a little piece on Martha's Vineyard and wherever they shot it, and do a little compilation 50 years later. So stay tuned for that, friends.
And I will send you multiple pictures and everything.
Yeah.
That was our actual honeymoon, was to see everything for Jaws.
Yep.
And we went through.
So I need to talk. That's why I was going to say I need to talk to you about that and get some info on you from where to go and what to do. So did you? I didn't know this. Did you know Wes Craven is? Did you go to his grave? He's buried there.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, neither did I. I know. So we come back with me in December. So I had a guest on. Told me that I never. He's buried on the island. I think. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Random, right? So random. But anyway. But that's it, guys. Thank you all again. This is great. Please, follow. You guys know if you watch the show where to find us on Instagram and on we do some Facebook and YouTube. Of course, our episodes are there. thescarymovieproject.com. Email at thescarymovieproject@gmail.com. This is a lot of fun. If you guys want to do this again, I'm down for it. We have one in December we could do, or more live shows. I say rock on. Last person I got to thank, Tony. Tony Barber is on. He's directing the show tonight. Tony's my buddy. He's my man. Check him out, Tony B. DePilot on Instagram. He made all this happen tonight. So thank you very much, Tony. And that's really all we got, folks. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday the 13th, wherever you are. Be safe. Love the movies. And we will talk to you guys soon enough. All right. Thank you and good night.